Mr. Schlegel.
One second. Carl Schlegel, Sterling. This past month and these meetings have been trying for me, as I'm sure they've been trying for all of us. And I come here tonight in the hope that we, all of us, can have a new beginning. Everything that has happened that is negative, that is not upbuilding to the community, can be changed. But first, we must be willing to listen to one another, and that does go both ways. I must be willing to understand you, and you must be willing to understand me, or all of us. With that in mind, allow me to go over some things which concern me greatly, and that you, in your turn, you can tell me what concerns you. But I must warn you, some of what I have to say will be critical and probably painful. Nonetheless, please hear me out, because in the end, I believe it will be for the benefit of us all. First, you promised an open government, and yet your appointments to important committees such as FRAC excluded anyone who has opposed or disagreed with you. The deputy mayor sits next to his brother-in-law on the township committee. His father is a township employee. His wife is on the recreation committee. And at the last meeting, his mother-in-law was appointed to the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee over two extremely well-qualified and dedicated individuals who helped found the committee. I wonder whether we're going to run out of open appointments before, Mr. Rubio, you run out of relatives to fill them. Regarding the FRAC committee, only people that supported you and agreed with you were appointed. Furthermore, it was pointed out to me that it must be a requirement that you live in Millington because no one from Gillette or Sterling was appointed. I'm asking you to reconsider the structure and composition of the FRAC committee by allowing each member of the township committee to appoint an equal number of members without the need for a vote. Whether each committee person appoints 1, 2, or 3, you, Mr. Mayor, would still control 60% of the seats on the FRAC committee, or I mean you and Mr. Runio and Mr. Briggs. More than enough to ensure that the committee's philosophy will reflect your own, while at the same time giving others an opportunity to present their ideas. Also, the other thing that I wanted to comment on, I was going to also comment on those same comments, and I did find it disturbing, some of the things that I read, because I asked for a copy of the document from Committeewoman Genovese, and I found it disturbing. And I guess the reason I found it disturbing was because it talked about manipulation, like the FRAC committee could look like a hard guy, and then you guys could come in and present yourselves as being magnanimous to the employees. And the other part that I read about the police committee, the police relations committee, about somebody with a grudge. I guess the best place we'd find appointments for that is we go to municipal court, find somebody that's a local resident accused of a breaking and entering or maybe domestic violence or something like that. We could appoint them to the police public relations committee. And then the final thing I just wanted to say was, with regards to the resolution that was introduced at the beginning of this year, Resolution 07030, with regards to the salary increases for the employees, the union members of the people that are part of unions that are employees of this town, the police and public works, their increases are going through because the contract's already signed. You're only talking about a handful of people. And when you break down that amount of money that you're talking about, it comes to less than 24 cents a week. You can't even buy the Echo Sentinel with that, and I'm sure we all want to read the Echo Sentinel. But it comes to less than 24 cents a week. And so, for a home that's assessed at $400,000 a year. So it's not a lot of money on the part of the taxpayers, and it shows goodwill to the employees to give them that raise. And what were we going to think about? Were we going to think about cutting that in half? Even if you cut it down to 2%, you're only saving the taxpayers 12 cents a week. If you cut it down to 0, you'll save them 24 cents. But you won't really have the goodwill of the township employees. And maybe one of the reasons why we're having a difficult time finding a new chief financial officer is because of the way that we are currently treating our employees. So I suggest that in the spirit of a new beginning tonight, that resolution be approved, and that you really consider restructuring the FRAC committee, you'll still have control. And it'll be something that then could be workable for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to point out, Mr. Schlegel, that Mr. Hamilton was one of my picks to serve as chairman of the Environmental Commission. If you recall, he was this gentleman's adversary in the last election. He's also serving on the planning board at our appointment, and he's also part of this group that we're looking at to study Valley Road, among other things. So there are people that we've appointed.
You only mentioned Len Hamilton, and as I recall at the debate...
Excuse me, Mr. Schlegel, I appointed Len Hamilton last year to the environmental chair on the planning board. He just allowed him to stay. I appointed him.
Okay. But
I reappointed him, that's right.
But at the debate, when Mr. Ronio and Mr. Briggs and Mr. Hamilton and Mrs. Hennessy had the debate, Mr. Briggs and Mr. Ronio conceded the fact that Mr. Hamilton knew more about environmental issues than they did. So I think that your appointment of him, that's great, but there's other people that have different opinions than your own, that may have been in opposition to you, and may be still in opposition to you.
That's not an example.
But the point is that it would be good to open up these committees and allow other people to participate in them. If you do the right thing, I don't care if you're in office for the rest of my life. But if you do the wrong thing, then I'm probably going to have a short life.
Thank you.
I think that what you're alluding to, Mr. Schlegel, is that Mr. Aronio made a motion that the Township Committee was going to appoint the FRAC members, because originally it was a motion for just the mayor. And obviously, you know that I was shut down, and Chris was shut down, and we absolutely had no say. So it is a little bit disingenuous, that motion, because it was not fulfilled, because the rest of the committee did not have a decision on who was on that FRAC committee, even though there was a reach out with the motion that was going to happen. So it is a little disappointing that there was that motion, but it was really disingenuous. It was not going to be fulfilled, and it wasn't. So I appreciate your comments, because I think that that's a more balanced committee and would be more representative of our community. So thank you.